For 12 years, she bought everything immediately. New kitchen gadget, buy now, flash sale boots, add to cart, upgraded phone with a limited time offer, done. Amelia Whitmore was 50 years old, working full-time at a large electronics retail store in Tampa, Florida. She earned about $3,600 a month, and she spent nearly $4,200 every month. 3 credit cards, $21,400 in total debt, interest rates above 25%, closets filled with unopened boxes. She wasn't irresponsible, she was impulsive. The problem wasn't her paycheck, it was the zero space between desire and decision. If she wanted it, she bought it. Until she tried one painfully simple rule: wait 48 hours, no complicated budget, no extreme deprivation, just time between emotion and action, and within months, everything changed. If you value stories that change the way you see money, like this video and subscribe to the Wealth Fables. It helps YouTube recommend it to more people. Now, stay with the full story. Amelia Whitmore was 50 years old and had been working at the same big box electronics store in Tampa, Florida, for nearly 11 years. She wasn't in management, but she was experienced, reliable, and good with customers. She earned around $3,600 a month after taxes, plus occasional small commissions when sales were strong. It wasn't glamorous income, but it was steady. She lived alone in a modest 2-bedroom apartment, drove a 5-year-old sedan that was almost paid off, and didn't have dependents relying on her. From the outside, her life looked stable and manageable for someone her age, but stability on paper didn't match reality in practice. For over a decade, Amelia had developed a quiet habit that slowly reshaped her financial life. She bought things the moment she wanted them. Working in electronics made temptation constant. New headphones arrived weekly. Smart home devices were always revolutionary. Sales banners screamed urgency. Employees received small discounts, which made purchases feel justified. She told herself she was being smart by saving money with discounts, even though she was spending money she didn't actually have. Her income averaged $3,600 a month. Her spending averaged closer to $4,200. The gap wasn't massive in any single moment, but it was relentless. Groceries, rent, utilities, car insurance, those were predictable. The problem lived in the in-between purchases: $180 wireless earbuds, $320 kitchen appliance upgrades, $140 boots she didn't need but loved, $600 holiday sales she couldn't resist. None of them felt extreme alone. Together, they created a monthly overflow that her credit cards quietly absorbed. She carried balances on 3 cards totaling $21,400. Interest rates hovered above 25%. She paid more than $600 a month just in minimum payments and interest, yet the total barely moved. Some months it even grew. She had tried budgeting apps before, downloaded spreadsheets, even attempted a no-spin month once. Nothing lasted. The issue wasn't that she didn't understand numbers, it was that she made decisions emotionally and dealt with consequences later. Her apartment told the story she avoided. Closets held unopened kitchen gadgets, still in boxes. A drawer contained 3 different pairs of premium headphones. A tablet she bought during a limited-time bundle sat untouched on a shelf. Every object represented a moment of excitement, followed by quiet regret. She didn't feel reckless. She felt temporarily happy, and then financially tight. What unsettled her most wasn't the debt itself. It was the pattern. At 50 years old, she realized she had been living in the same financial loop for over a decade. Work, earn, spend impulsively, pay minimums, repeat. Retirement savings were minimal. Emergency savings barely existed, and the thought that she could carry this pattern into her 60s frightened her more than the credit card balances. The problem wasn't that she lacked income, it was that she lacked space between desire and decision, and that realization would soon become the turning point. Amelia's breaking point didn't happen during a dramatic shopping spree. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon at work. A new smartphone model had just been released, and the store had decorated the front display with bright promotional banners announcing a 48-hour launch special. Customers crowded the demo tables. Her co-workers were excited. The energy in the store felt contagious. During her lunch break, she held the phone in her hands, felt its smooth edges, admired the upgraded camera, and imagined how nice it would look on her kitchen counter charging overnight. Her current phone worked perfectly, but this one was faster, brighter, newer. The price after her employee discount would be $1,050. Her brain moved fast. You deserve it. It's on sale. You use your phone every day. Within minutes, she was mentally rearranging her budget to justify it. She could put it on card too. She would pay it off soon. She had said those exact words many times before. Then something unexpected happened. A customer she had helped earlier in the week came back to return a tablet. The woman looked embarrassed and said quietly, "I shouldn't have bought this. I didn't need it. I just got excited." Amelia processed the return, scanned the barcode, and placed the unopened tablet back into inventory. The screen flashed the refund amount, $899. As she handed the receipt back, she felt a strange discomfort in her chest. That tablet looked familiar. She owned one just like it, barely used. She suddenly saw herself from the outside. Same impulse, same justification, same future regret. When her shift ended, she sat in her car in the parking lot and opened her credit card apps. Card 1, $8,400. Card 2, $7,900. Card 3, $5,100 total, $21,400. Minimum payments due next week, $642. She calculated quickly. If she bought the phone, that total would cross $22,000. With interest, it would cost far more than $1,050 over time. For the first time, the pattern felt exhausting instead of exciting. She wasn't buying things because she needed them. She was buying to feel something, a rush, a reward after long shifts, a sense of novelty. But the feeling faded quickly, and the balance remained. Sitting there, she admitted a hard truth. Her problem wasn't income. It wasn't lack of budgeting knowledge. It was the 0-second gap between seeing and buying. There was no interruption, no pause, no logic window. That evening, instead of purchasing the phone, she drove home without it. The urge was still there, pulsing, but something had shifted. She realized she didn't need another financial tool. She needed time between emotion and action. And that is when the idea of a simple rule began forming in her mind. That night, sitting at her small kitchen table, Amelia wrote one sentence on a sticky note and placed it on her refrigerator. If it costs more than $100, wait 48 hours. She chose $100 because she knew herself. Her impulsive purchases weren't just big-ticket splurges. They were $180 headphones, $240 kitchen appliances, $350 boots, $600 holiday bundles, individually manageable, collectively destructive. So $100 became her line. Anything above that amount triggered an automatic 48-hour pause, no exceptions. The rule was simple, but the structure behind it mattered. She created a folder in her phone called 48-hour list. Anytime she felt the urge to buy something over $100, she had to screenshot it, save the price, and note the exact date and time. Then she had to close the app, not browse alternatives, not compare colors, not check reviews again. Close it. The first test came sooner than expected. 2 days after the smartphone incident, she saw a pair of premium noise-canceling headphones, discounted from $299 to $189. Limited time deal. The red banner warned. Her chest tightened. She imagined using them during her commute. She imagined the improved sound. The familiar rush returned. She picked up her phone, then stopped. 48 hours, she said quietly to herself. She saved the screenshot, wrote the time, 7:42 p.m., closed the browser. The first 6 hours were uncomfortable. She kept thinking about them. What if they sold out? What if the price jumped back up? She felt the anxiety of possibly missing out, the same anxiety that had controlled her for years. But she didn't reopen the page. By the next afternoon, the intensity had dropped slightly. She still liked the headphones, but the urgency felt softer. By the second evening, the desire had cooled significantly. When the 48-hour timer ended, she reopened the screenshot and asked herself 5 simple questions. Do I truly need this? Or do I just want it? Do I already own something similar? Will I use it at least 5 times in the next 3 months? Is it worth several hours of my work? Would I buy it at full price? The answers were clear. She owned 2 working pairs already. She wouldn't use them often. She wanted them because they were on sale. She deleted the screenshot. That small act felt surprisingly powerful. The 48-hour rule didn't eliminate desire. It created distance. And in that distance, logic had room to speak. For the first time in years, Emotion was no longer making the final decision. Time was. The first month felt awkward, almost mechanical. Amelia didn't suddenly stop wanting things. In fact, the urges became more noticeable because she was no longer acting on them immediately. Every time she felt the impulse, she had to pause, screenshot, and wait. At first it felt restrictive, but by the end of week 2, something unexpected happened. Most of the items on her 48-hour list no longer interested her. In the first 30 days, she saved 19 screenshots: kitchen blender, designer boots, smartwatch upgrade, holiday decor bundle, Bluetooth speaker. After 48 hours, she purchased exactly 2 of them. 17 quietly disappeared from her desire once the urgency faded. That realization shocked her. For years, she had believed her impulses represented genuine needs. Now she saw the truth. Most of them were temporary emotional spikes amplified by marketing. Financially, the impact was immediate. That first month alone, she avoided nearly $2,800 in discretionary purchases. Instead of spending it, she redirected $1,200 as an extra payment toward the highest interest credit card. It was the first time she had paid more than the minimum in years. Watching the balance drop under $8,000 gave her a surge of satisfaction stronger than any new gadget ever had. By month 3, the rule felt less forced and more automatic. When she saw something tempting, her brain no longer screamed by it. It whispered, "Add it to the list." The pause became habitual. The emotional wave shortened. She began recognizing patterns. She wanted to shop most when she felt stressed after work or bored on weekends. The 48-hour buffer gave her space to notice the emotion. Instead of numbing it with a purchase, her debt began shrinking visibly. $21,400 became $18,900. Then, $16,700. She attacked the highest interest card first, applying every avoided purchase toward principal. For the first time in 12 years, her balances were moving in the right direction consistently. At month 6, something extraordinary happened. She fully paid off her smallest credit card, $5,100 gone. When she made that final payment, she sat quietly at her kitchen table and cried, not because of the money alone, but because she realized she was no longer trapped in automatic behavior. 8 months after starting the rule, all 3 credit cards were paid off. No side hustle, no raise, same job, same salary. The difference was the gap between desire and action. By the end of the first year, instead of carrying $21,000 in debt, she had over $9,000 in savings. The 48-hour rule didn't just reduce spending, it rebuilt her sense of control. 1 year earlier, Amelia's closets were full and her bank account was fragile. Now, her closets looked simpler and her finances were stronger than they had been in over a decade. She still worked at the same electronics store in Tampa. She still earned roughly $3,600 a month. Nothing dramatic had changed about her income, but everything had changed about her decisions. Her credit cards were paid off. All 3. The $21,400 balance that once felt permanent was gone. In its place sat something she had never consistently maintained before: savings. By month 12, she had built a $9,000 emergency fund. By month 18, it had grown past $14,000. For the first time since her 30s, she wasn't paying interest, she was earning it. But the real transformation wasn't numerical, it was neurological. She no longer felt the same rush. When she saw a limited time offer, the red banners, countdown timers, and only 3 left in stock messages still existed, but they no longer controlled her. The 48-hour pause had rewired her response. Desire would rise, but it wouldn't dominate. Urgency would whisper, but it wouldn't decide. She realized something powerful. Most of what feels urgent isn't essential. It's engineered. For 12 years, she believed she had a money problem. In reality, she had a timing problem. The space between seeing and buying had been 0, and 0 seconds leaves no room for logic. 40-8 hours changed that. During the first 6 hours of waiting, emotion screamed. During the next 24, emotion cooled. By the end of 48, logic returned. 80% of the items she once believed she needed immediately lost their appeal in 2 days. The few that survived the 48-hour test were purchased without guilt because they were conscious decisions, not emotional reactions. Here is the lesson her story leaves behind. Impulsivity keeps you in debt. Delay gives you power. Same job, same paycheck, different timing. Opposite outcome. Amelia didn't eliminate desire. She created distance. And in that distance, freedom grew. If you find yourself constantly saying, "I'll pay it off later," if your credit card balance feels stuck, if your home is filling faster than your savings account, maybe the solution isn't more income. Maybe it's 2 days. Because most things you can't live without today will barely matter in 48 hours. And sometimes, financial freedom begins with nothing more than waiting.